It's Sunday afternoon. It's almost 2 o'clock. I'm looking at the at myself and seeing that the skyline back there is looking pretty good. I've been keeping them standing up more or less. On occasion, I they fall down when the wind blows a little bit the wrong way, or I pass by a little bit too close, so I have to reset it in such a way that it does not uh, fall down. I think I've got it pretty stable at the moment, but it's always a balancing act. What I'm going to try and do is wedge them in between. Uh, well, you see the ceiling up there, way up there. Wedge them between the ceiling and the stack so that they'll be permanently stuck in there. And I'm getting close. I'm getting close. A few more whiskey bottles opened with tubes or boxes, and I'll be able to get them hopefully the right length exactly, and then just wedge between the ceiling and the floor. But enough about that. I made a video last night about an Irish whiskey, and it was the entry level um, not Jameson's, Bushmills, the entry level Bushmills. And I was about to put the video in my hard drive to back it up, and it said, "Do I? There's already a video with that title, and do I want to replace it or keep both?" And I thought, really, there's a video of that title? So I went back into the Food Quig channel, and sure enough, 7 months ago I had made the same video, and the one from 7 months ago was better than the one from last night. For some reason, I was in a better mood and not as tired, and I tasted more, and so I'm leaving the original video of that title up there, and I'm not necessarily scrapping the new one, but I'm not gonna put it up. Anyway, so much for the preliminaries. Now, it's been mentioned to me that I should maybe go back and re-review some whiskeys that I had reviewed in the past. Maybe go towards half open bottles or half finished bottles and re-review them, but I don't know if I'm organized enough to do that. I kind of have this thing where I just open a bottle and give you my first impression. This here video is not going to be a first impression because I've had this one several times, and I did mention it in a flight sometime last year. I think I had some Four Roses and I had something else. And this. And the last time I had this before that was maybe 4 years ago when I bought it in Seattle and brought it here. And after I brought it home, I realized that I could get it locally. It just became available locally right after I brought a bottle home from Seattle. So I'll be going to Seattle in a couple of weeks, and I'll be getting trying to get something that I can't find here. And what's amazing is that there are a lot more bourbons available here than there used to be. And there's quite a selection of Canadian whiskey, premium Canadian whiskey, at much better prices than the bourbons, because our dollar is weak right now and the American dollar is high compared to ours, so we pay a premium for bourbons. This one, though, is not too bad. I think I paid $60. And for a 12-year-old bourbon, that's really quite good. It's the Elijah Craig 12. Now, I hear that in a lot of the United States, you can't get Elijah Craig 12 because they took this little age statement off of the Elijah Craig bottle. But I know where I can still get plenty of it here. They have a lot in the one store where I get it. And it says here, perfection takes time. And Elijah Craig has made it worth the wait. 12 years in the making, fresh limestone spring water, and a special yeast recipe that has been in a family secret for generations. These are just some of the reasons why Elijah Craig is true small batch bourbon before the term small batch ever existed. It's considered one of the world's greatest bourbons. Elijah Craig Bourbon, distilled and bottled by Elijah Craig Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky. Yeah, Bardstown. We know of that place quite well. I just have to find the little holes in the plastic, and I did. It was perforated, so this thing came right off. We got our big fat Elijah Craig cork. There, that was a proper. And here we go. We'll put it in a dirty glass, which has contained lesser bourbon the last time, to wash it out from soap and water and stuff. And there we are. The 12-year-old Elijah Craig. This is the first time I've done 12-year-old Elijah Craig in its own video. I get a nice rye note along with a kind of a smooth plasticine type of note. There's that bite of rye. There's caramel. Yeah, caramel. There's something with the caramel as well. It's almost spicy. Maybe it's from 12 years in the cask, 12 years in the barrel. There's vanilla with that caramel now. The vanilla comes in a little later. Vanilla, caramel, wood. A little bit of, yeah, there's that spiciness again. It's either from the wood or from the rye in the mash bill. I don't think it's a very high rye mash bill, but there's some rye in it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Vanilla, quite a bit of vanilla. More vanilla now than the caramel. Like the caramel has morphed towards vanilla as I've been nosing it for a couple minutes. Yeah, quite a lot of vanilla. I'm not getting a lot of fruity notes. I'm getting a little something else with my caramel and vanilla. Maybe a butterscotch, a toffee. It's like there's been butter added to my caramel. It's quite a nice nose. I could keep going on it as it keeps changing. Lovely, lovely nose. There's a little something else to it. It's along with the vanilla. Maybe a little almond, kind of a marzipan almond thing. But it's slight. Mostly what I'm getting now is vanilla. Vanilla and a bit of spice. The caramel's still there, but it's moved aside a little bit. Delightful nose. I could keep nosing this for a long time. It is 750 milliliters. It was bottled at 47% alcohol by volume. So it's a little more than your standard bourbon. Most bourbons are either around 45, unless it's a really cheap bourbon, which would be around 40% ABV. This is 47. There are naturally some that are 50 and up. There are some cask strength around 60. I've got one over there. But I'm not one who likes to mess around with water and add a little bit of water just to get the right taste. I like the right taste straight out of the bottle. And here we go. There's a caramel, toffee, vanilla, and it lingers on a little bit of that plasticine note. A lot of vanilla. The caramel is there, but it's sort of in the background of the vanilla, which is up front. Yeah, a lot of vanilla. And that spice, there's that tingling on the tip and on the sides of the tongue that's still there. I don't know if that's from the rye or from the alcohol. I'd like to think it's rye, the rye that's in the mash bill. But this is obviously, being a Kentucky straight bourbon, it's got to be 51% corn alcohol with other things. I'm thinking rye and malted barley. I don't know how much malted barley, maybe up to 20%, maybe up to 30% rye, maybe less. I don't know. Could be more than 51% corn for all I know. Still a lovely nose. Yeah. There it is, that depth of caramel and vanilla with some of that tingling rye on the tongue. This is a really great bourbon. It's not going to be as complex as, say, a lot of single malt scotches, but it has a lot of flavor. What it lacks in complexity, it adds in flavor. You know, it's a little sweet. It's a little confectionery. It's just very masterfully made. It's a little rough on the edges. Yeah, there are smoother bourbons. There are those that don't tingle you on the tongue like this one. No, I take that back. It is smooth, but it does have that bite. Some of the bite is from the oak. Some of the bite may be from rye. And yeah, the oak is very strong now towards the end. I'm getting now a bit of a sawdust note that it tastes just like the sawdust smelled when my dad was cutting wood with his table saw. I like this one. I like this one a lot. But you have to start with something weaker. You have to start with a 40% like I did. I had some Ezra Brooks 40% before I took this. If I was just to start with this, I wouldn't appreciate it quite so much because you got to wet your whistle first. 47% ABV is pretty high. Let's do a little experiment. Let's add just a bit of water and see what that does. I don't usually mess around with water, but let's try it. Now the caramel's getting stronger. The caramel's getting stronger. The vanilla is really getting stronger. Stronger than the caramel. And now I'm getting more of those spicy, oaky wood tones. Try again. Okay. That's the most I'm going to put in it. I brought it down to about 40% alcohol by volume. Less caramel, less vanilla, but more wood, more spicy wood. Yeah. More of those slightly bitter wood tones from the 12 years in the barrel. Well, I'm going to enjoy this rest of the bottle slowly. I've got a lot of bourbon now. Cheers.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Yeah.